February 9th, 2026 marks the third challenge of me overcoming my social anxiety and getting out of my comfort zone. For today's challenge, I will be going to Singapore and Malaysia for 3 weeks to meet my girlfriend's family and have an awesome time of indulging in culture, eating wonderful food, and just having the best 3 weeks ever. I start my voyage to Singapore and Malaysia for like 3 weeks. I took off like all my PTO for this, and we leave in like 2 hours. Super excited. Let's go.
All right. First thing I did was say goodbye to the dog, but then I realized the dog was coming with us. So here's some footage of us driving to the airport and checking in. We were able to do this with just 2 checked-in luggages and then 2 carry-ons. And this is just some footage of us walking around the airport trying to kill time. Our flight was from Minneapolis to London, which is 7 hours of flight time, and then London to Singapore, which is 13 hours of flight time. So all in all, 20 hours of flight time. But we got very, very lucky on this first flight because look how empty it is. So Ashley and I were scheming that once we got our food, we were going to take a row for ourselves and be able to lay down. Basically get the first class experience without even having to pay first class prices. They even gave us these warm towels, which I thought were for your face, but I quickly learned they were just for your hands. And my face started to burn profusely, which was not this emotion of my tongue wagging. Here's the row I was able to take for myself. Just absolutely first class living in economy. And here's the food that they gave us. So they gave us some chickpea salad and some chicken korma, and it was actually pretty good. One of the best airline foods I've actually ever had in my life. And I had Ashley record this just to show how much space it is. I know it's annoying, but man, I was able to stretch. And here's me trying to get some sleep here, trying not to annoy the neighbors. And a little halfway checkpoint here, just kind of vibing throughout the flight. We were in this nice plane, and then they woke us up for brekkie, which was some Chobani yogurt, and then this pretty disgusting egg and cheese calzone. And I heard online that you can ask the Delta pilots for a trading card, so that's what I did. Is it possible to get a trading card?
You have to go see the pilots all the way up at the front.
All the way over here.
All right.
Yes, close.
Could I grab a trading card? Oh my.
How about the whole stack?
The whole stack?
The whole stack.
Oh my gosh. Did I hit
Is that the good one? Let me see. Yeah.
This is the best one, right?
Okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh, well thank you.
You're welcome.
If this trip couldn't already be off to the best start, they gave me the whole stack of these trading cards, which includes some special United States Olympic trading card. I wonder if that's worth some money on the resale market. Anyways, we had to get to our next terminal by taking a couple of buses, and then, you know, as you travel, you should probably have proper hygiene and brush your teeth. And this was our spot from lunch or breakfast, where we actually were in the British experience having a full English breakfast, which was actually pretty good, a little expensive, but then we walked around a little bit for the airport, and there was just so many luxury stores. And then this is our big ass plane, a double-decker plane. I've never been on one, but it was very luxurious. And maybe someday I'll be able to ride on the top floor. But this is the second go at a hot towel, and this one was actually for your face. So I actually like to joke that, you know, I wasn't supposed to, but they served us some lunch, which was like an omelet kind of thing, and drank some tea. And then I kind of zonked out for a couple hours, and here's us over the Middle East. But then they served us some breakfast, which was another omelet with some like beef meatballs, some fresh fruit, some nice yogurt. And this is us after a long 13-hour journey. And this is going through the security, which is pretty chill in Singapore. And our itinerary was to spend 1 day at the Jewel before heading to Malaysia. So these next couple of clips will be us exploring the Jewel, which, if you are unfamiliar, is probably the best mall connected to any airport in the entire world. and actually had this large craving for some sugarcane juice, and it was pretty cool that it actually just grinded it up right in front of you. So I think that's pretty fresh. Maybe not the freshest, but pretty fresh. And this was only like $3 so that's like $2.50 USD.
All right, we have fresh squeezed sugarcane juice from a vending machine. First thing we bought in Singapore food-wise, so let's give it a try. It was $3, so like 230 something USD. Oh, that is so good. You gotta try that. 10 out of 10.
A little sweetness of the sugarcane actually quenched my thirst. 10 out of 10.
And then if you're from Southeast Asia, you know this meal. You know, we've got some gaya toast, some soft-boiled eggs, and some tea. And this was some famous place, but it was only like $6 Singapore dollars. And gaya toast is just actually phenomenal. But we had so much time to kill before we could enter our hotel, so we just explored the Jewel. You know, we got a smoothie at 7-Eleven. Ashley got this world-renowned boba place. I wanted to get some, you know, famous Singaporean chicken rice with some broth. This is a big-ass food court in the basement. And here's me right before we could check into our hotel. Let's see what Colby's saying.
Singapore day one. Currently 3:30 p.m. But we're in bed because the jet lag is hitting us. And we haven't slept in a bed in like 48 hours, so take a little nappy. Hopefully wake up, feel rejuvenated, and go explore the Jewel and do other stuff. But here's napping at 3:30.
We did in fact sleep for like 3 hours, but Ashley wanted to get some dinner before we just went back to bed because we were just feeling terrible. Here's some stuff that we got at a quick gas station kind of thing. And this is the Jewel at night. And this is the room that we never showed you guys. So it's pretty small as it's pretty cheap. But this is us leaving in the morning because we have a flight, a one-way flight to catch to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which marks the day where I meet Ashley's extended family for the first time. I'm going to meet her aunts on the dad's side. But this is a robot that automatically makes you a cocktail. It was like 9 in the morning, but Ashley saw this reel that you can like get this for free. So we just had a couple sips of it and it just serves it just like that. I mean, it's pretty unique, but this is the waiting room for our flight to Kuala Lumpur. And we just landed. What do we have to say?
State of the Union. Landed in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Got some chicken that we're gonna eat before we drive to the city center.
Away from the city center.
Away from the city center. It's been a long 72 hours, but we finally made it, kind of. So we're gonna enjoy this chicken and see where the day takes us.
First thing I noticed was the prices of everything. This an hour and a half Uber was like $20 US, which was just nuts because in the States this would be at least $100. But we met up with her aunt where we're staying at, and I was actually going to get a haircut at this nice spa. Rate the cut down below. Did have some technical difficulties as I wasn't left at the chair, but whatever. But then I was walking on my way to get a 2-hour massage. They spent 1 hour on my feet and 1 hour on my back.
End of day one in Malaysia. It's been sweet, really hot, but awesome. Got a haircut. Got a 2-hour long massage. Ate some great food. Now I'm about to hit the hay. Tomorrow we got the Batu Caves.
Before the Batu Caves, they stopped at breakfast, and I was introduced to this thing called kopi, which is just coffee, but kopi ice with a little condensed milk. And I've been chasing that feeling ever since I left Malaysia because that is just phenomenal drink. But we took a Grab, which is the Malaysian Uber, over to the Batu Caves, which, if you're unfamiliar, is like some sort of Hindu heritage site where you climb up these steps and there's a temple at the top, and it's literally built in these like limestone caves, which I thought it was maybe like thousands of years old, but it was only like less than 400 years old, which I thought was pretty phenomenal. They had like this, like, I was just surprised they were able to get electricity in there, but We stopped for some food, got some nice tofu, a little coconut drink, and we just kind of chilled in this like little Zen garden up in the highlands. This is me trying to be cinematic, the little mountainous range. But then we had some dinner, with the Lazy Susan family style at this local spot, and it was just phenomenal, man. Like when I say the food here is so cheap and so amazing, it is. But then we went to this temple, this Chinese temple before Chinese New Year to just kind of walk around and see it, and it is magnificent. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life. And as I'm watching these clips back, I'm realizing a lot of this footage is just food. So if you can count how many food is shown is in this video, comment below and I'll Venmo you $2. But we then got dropped off by her aunt at this big mall called the Pavilion in downtown Kuala Lumpur. And we had time to kill because we were then going to check into our hotel, which we were able to get with points. Thank you, Ashley Wong. And we spent some time in the food court, us big back. Anyways, we then had these croissant taiyaki kind of things, but this is our hotel room in KL that we were able to get for free, like I said, and it is pretty nice. I think it's like a 4-star hotel, and if you see those balloons there, I don't want to spoil anything, but we did say it was our anniversary, so they left us a nice little note with balloons and a piece of chocolate cake. So thank you to the Marriott in Kuala Lumpur for that. But we were pretty stoked to have this nice room. I was especially excited for the shower because it was very high pressure. But after we checked in, we met up with her other aunt and we just did a little sightseeing. So in KL, Kuala Lumpur, there's this thing called Petaling Street, which is basically like part of Chinatown. So we grabbed a meal with her aunt after exploring Chinatown, and these were the best noodles I've ever had. Those black looking noodles are called Hokkien Mee. Sorry for the pronunciation if you're watching this and you're from Malaysia, but it's like these thick noodles with maybe a little dark soy sauce on it, and I could go on and on, but ooh, the nice chew texture to it. But this is the next day now, and we are going to the world famous Petronas Towers. Look at this view. So this was built in the middle of Kuala Lumpur, and this is like the skyway between the two towers, which is owned or named after Petronas, which is one of the biggest companies inside of Malaysia. And at the top, they had this Xbox Connect looking thing. So I was like, man, I haven't seen that in years. But this is the view from the very top. You get like a 360-degree view of all of Kuala Lumpur, and you can really see the urban sprawl that is a part of it. I mean, houses and urbanization go on for miles, and I wanted Ashley to record probably the highest bathroom I've ever been in, excluding planes. I mean, look at this. We're living large. Oh, I almost fell. No, I'm just playing. But then we spent maybe an hour in the gift shop. Ashley looked pretty cute with this monkey looking thing, and we would then walked to go on this hop on, hop off kind of touristy bus thing, and it dropped us off in Little India. And if you know me, I love Indian food, so the first thing we did was get some cheese naan, mutton biryani, we got some roti canai, we got some chai, we got some Kerala coffee. I mean, this is just phenomenal, and this is all like $7 or $8. This is more of the Little India, and the bus took us then to a like the Royal Parliament building, which all you can do is look at it. You can't even go inside, so that's kind of disappointing. But then we just kept taking the train the bus to this place called Mishui, which is the biggest like Chinese like fast food spot in the world, where we got a kiwi tea, which is really refreshing because it was so hot. And we did some more walking and saw more shops, and we saw this sweetened soy milk spot. And so I thought it was pretty artsy to get this video here by this old man. Thank you, Laoban. This was maybe like 2 or 3, 4 ringgit, so that's like $1 USD. And it was unique because I don't think I've ever had soy milk before, but I've had that flavor in my mouth before. Anyways, after the soy milk, we got some more steps in. This is mee tarik. I wanted to get it, but we did not. Ashley got roti canai, and I got some ayam goreng, which is just chicken rice basically. And this is Ashley's one and only roti tissue with a little like sweetened condensed milk on top. I don't even know what this video is. Okay, so this video is actually Ashley showing how hot this ayam goreng made me feel. Like I'm just like sweating. This is the spiciest thing I had on the trip actually. But then the next day I wanted to show our little pool situation because actually it was phenomenal. We did swim in it, and then we got some breakfast from this world famous place where I had like noodles and tripe, and Ashley had some other noodles. And then we took a bus to the National Mosque, and I've never been in something like this. This was like a grand mosque, very nice, like marbled floors. It was just so cool to see like this side of Malaysia. Granted that it's like an Islamic country, but here's my thoughts. Just went to the National Mosque of Malaysia behind me. Very beautiful. A lot of marbled floors, marbled everything. Built in the 60s. Awesome experience. Never been to a mosque before, but this was a grand gesture. And now we're waiting for the hop on, hop off bus to go to the plaza, I believe. So really the theme while we were in Kuala Lumpur is to see the sights and eat the food. But Ashley had her eyes on this batik thing, which is like oil painting. So I created a dragon and Ashley created a parrot, which actually took a long time. But we rewarded ourselves with some nice Vietnamese coffee. And this is actually pretty good, but 10 ringgit for this big coffee, not a bad deal. Then guess what we did? We ate more food. I mean, I gained 2 pounds this trip, but that's it. But we got some egg roti. Then we got some tang shui, which is like a kind of soup, Chinese soup of some sort. And we saw her parents' hotel, which had this phenomenal view of downtown Kuala Lumpur. And this is actually the tallest building in Asia and the second tallest building in the world at the very beginning. And here's my thoughts as we're leaving KL.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Last day in Kuala Lumpur. Today, we are headed to a city in the south called Kulang, I think. Gonna take the train at noon, and I think it's a couple hour train ride, and we'll see. Leaving the big city behind. Going to a more rural city, so should be interesting. Let's go.
So the second leg of this trip is the juxtaposition of KL. Leaving the big city behind, we are going to, in my eyes, a pretty small, like rural country town. But to get there, we had to take a 5-hour train, and we had time to kill, so we just went to the train station where they have more malls. Asia has a lot of malls, I'm realizing, where we spent time eating, obviously, and we spent time just like walking around the different stores. And here's us waiting for our train in the train station, and we had some nice goodies on the train station. This is some sort of sweet rice and passion fruit snacks, but we made it to the town. And it was before Chinese New Year, so this is where it gets exciting, where we were waiting for this world famous saro, which is like crispy pork skin belly. And it was too long, so we just recorded it and then left. But we did get some from this smaller shack. And we went to this thing called like Bazaar or something, where there's so many food stands, like these Gaia balls. And man, it was phenomenal. After a long, long travel day by train, we have made it to Johor, Kulang. Got this sick Penang jersey. Shout out to Achiai. Man, I'm tired, but I think Chinese New Year technically starts tomorrow. Gotta get shaved, gotta look clean for that. So, got a long day ahead of festivities and bringing in prosperity, luck, and wealth. The next day is here, and we went to an Indian temple where I got a bindi, and then we ate more food. This is some fried chicken, some roti canai, some beef rendang, and this is just some of the scenery of Malaysia. Coming from Minnesota, it's probably the 180, the complete opposite of what I'm used to. So this is pretty cool, seeing like these trees and the scenery. And Her grandparents have 9 dogs, so I tried to show all of the 9 dogs into one video, and it was pretty hard, but I mean, they're just the cutest things, except Kiki, she's a hater. But then her grandfather took us on a little trip to his, what he calls his farm or plantation, where he grows a lot of, dragon fruit, palm. I don't know if he does rubber, but there's guava, coconuts. There's that fresh dragon fruit that we picked. And once again, like this, they don't have this in the United States. But then I had a cultural experience of going to an Indian barber where I was getting a shave, just like a straight razor. And then we had a pretty ceremonial dinner here outside. I couldn't tell you what the dishes were. There's some fish dishes. There's some beef dishes. But then I got to drive a motorcycle. And here we are.
You take picture?
Yep, video. You can go whenever. Yeah!
Not too bad for a Byron, but Mom, if you're watching, I only went up and down the road once, but here's some more of the dogs just being cuddle monsters. And we wanted to see some of the lights in the downtown area, which were pretty cool, decked out for the Chinese New Year. So here's like a typical light show here in Kulong, where we kind of just spent a couple hours just walking around. Here's like this illuminated wheat field. But this is the next day. I think this is technically the first day of Chinese New Year, which this is like some sort of dragon dance, which brings prosperity to your family, I think. But this is the next day where we had more dinner, more dogs. Didn't record much these days. Wanted to just be ingrained in the family. But here's me in this traditional Chinese shirt and then Malay skirt. I forget the name of it, but the next day we had some more traditional Chinese New Year food. I ate boiled fish stomach, and I also ate sea cucumber, so I'm proud of that. But then we went to a family friend's who owns a pineapple farm and has a whole koi fish kind of tank within his house, so that was pretty cool to see. Ate more noodles after the pineapple farm. These were actually pretty spicy. But then this is the day of fireworks. So here's Ashley with a cute little sparkler, and this is her cousin with a pretty interesting fireworks setup here. I'm surprised that, actually I'm not surprised, but this is some more fireworks from her cousins. And then we sang some Chinese karaoke. This is not a stereotype, but apparently Asian people do love karaoke. Next day, we're actually eating some more roti canai, and then we're going. I wanted to show the dog because it was so chill, but we were going to a seaside town by the name of Malacca. Had some nice soup, and this is our hotel in Malacca. Pretty unique bathroom with the kind of rocks on the floor, but it was pretty big. And Malacca is a very historic town in Malaysia, right on the seaside, so there's a lot of historical things to go see. So after this little tour, we went to go see them, such as this old church, and there's the famous clock tower right there. Then I bought this traditional batik, I believe it's called, and this is a chendol. So I can't even explain this in Meguaren terms. So chendol is like shaved ice with like coconut sugar and like these little jellies and pieces of coconut, and it's something that they don't even have in the United States, but it was phenomenal. And this is more food, more sightseeing. This is peanut dusted mochi, and this is the next day where we got some kopi ice and teh tarik to go. And this is on top of the hill overseeing all of Malacca. There's the ocean where if you squint hard enough, you can actually see Indonesia. Apparently. Don't know if that's true or not, but this is the Mosque of Malacca, and this is us heading home, where I ate more Gaia toast, if you remember what I said previously, and more tea. And then we went to this wholesale place to get candy, because the best thing to bring back... Post-game interview, 1 hour long back massage, Chinese back massage, here in Kulang, Malaysia. That old Chinese man oiled me up and hit me hard. Unk was not playing around. but I feel rejuvenated. You?
I would agree.
Shout out to that guy. Now we gotta go down these stairs. I'm just gonna jump. Ah! Moral of the story is I got oiled up by an old Chinese man and he went to town on me on the massage. Don't take that out of context. And since this was our last day in Kulong, we had one last grand dinner with the entire family. And as we said our goodbyes, I said goodbye to Dian Dian, which is a husky. And this was the inside of the room. I realized I didn't show that. But here are my final thoughts as we leave Kulong. Last day here in Malaysia as we go to Singapore today. I think it's a couple-hour car ride, but I'm gonna miss Malaysia, man. It's been a great time. Loved meeting all the family, and I'm gonna miss the hospitality and the food, and the weather has been nice. But overall, great experience. Don't want to go back really, but you know what? That's what you gotta do. But you know, I would love to come back here. Yeah, it's been amazing cultural immersion. So yeah, off to Singapore we go. And if you're watching this, shout out to all the Wong family members for the hospitality here in Malaysia. It has been truly, probably, you know, 2 of the best weeks of my life. I can't even lie. It's been amazing, and I will be back. And Chinese New Year here was a sight to see for someone like me who's never experienced something like that, but it's been amazing. Shout out to everybody here. Thank you. So let me echo what I said in the video. If you are watching this from Malaysia, you know, from the Wong clan, thank you from the bottom of my heart for the hospitality and showing me what kind of like the local life is like in Malaysia. It was seriously the best 2 weeks of my life, but thank you. And especially shout out to Gong Gong, Apoa, Chiai, all the cousins, everybody. It was awesome. But the clips you're seeing now, the test drove a Chinese brand called Jetour, and then we went to a little mall as we go to the border of Malaysia and Singapore. Actually, we had some pho before and had the worst Vietnamese coffee in my life. But here's us driving with this Indian man to Singapore from Malaysia. Got through customs all right, although bro did side scrape a bus. So I hope, you know, that's fine. That's chill with him. But this is our final hotel before we come back to the States. So we have like three days in Singapore. Here we go. Made it to our hotel in Singapore. Now we're going to walk the streets of Chinatown and see what hawker centers there are and what kind of food we can get for 10 Singapore dollars compared to Malaysia. Let's see. It was already pretty late, so we just wanted to kind of walk and see what the Chinatown looked like, which was like a 20-minute walk. But everything was kind of closed, so we were forced to eat at McDonald's, where we got this meal, and it was actually pretty good. And this is a lychee pie, and that was actually really freaking good. One of the best things I ate, surprisingly enough. But this is the beautiful, beautiful waterfront of Singapore. And if you've seen anything about Singapore, you've probably seen these towers, the hotels. I think it's called like Mandalay Bay or something. And I got this dope panda keychain. The next day, we wanted to go to the botanical gardens. But before that, we had some famous Singapore chicken rice once again. And I had another kopi ice, and she had a dragon fruit drink. And then we kind of just chilled around the botanical garden. So we saw this monitor lizard, and actually did have a problem where she had heat stroke, so we had to quickly go to the hotel and revive her. But after the revival, we saw this famous ice cream Singapore bread snack thing, and I'm like, wow, this seems pretty interesting. I've never heard of this. But basically what they do is just these 2 old men. So we got one money collector and one cutter. So we got bro collecting the money, taking the orders, and we got other bro chopping up our little red bean ice cream into little slabs here, as you can see. Cuts off the plastic, obviously. Don't want to eat that. And then, look at this. Grabs a piece of this bread, which is just white bread, and then gives it to us. I mean, I had low expectations, but you'll find out what my thoughts are in about 3 seconds. But look how Instagrammable this is. I'm thinking about bringing this to the United States. What do you guys think? Would you buy?
Today
But
we're
here's
at
what I
Singapore. We got this famous bread, sweet bread and ice cream. Chose Uncle Cheng's. I got the red bean flavor, and we're gonna try it out here in Singapore. It's a weird combo, but it works. The fluffy bread, the sweet bread, and then the nice red bean has a nice distinct flavor to it. Overall, 9 out of 10 here on Windy Day in Singapore written reviews. Thank you.
Guys, I kid you not, that was a top 5 thing I ate this whole trip, which is just so wild because I had no expectations for this. I was kind of a hater. But we saw this famous Orchard Road, and then we saw these Garden by the Bay, which had some light show. Which the light show at the Garden by the Bay was kind of underwhelming, but we walked maybe 20 minutes to see this light show, which was actually pretty grand because we have the Louis Vuitton store right there, and then we had some dinner. I had chili dumplings, but then Ashley needed to get some drinks. Her preferred drink is Yakult. If you know, you know. And then the final full day we had, we went to the Singapore Zoo where we saw the rarest animal in the world, a tree kangaroo. Just kidding. Don't fact check that. But we then went to this area where like there's no fences. So we were pretty close to the lemurs. And then in an area with a fence, we saw this thing called a sun bear, which is the smallest bear in the bear family. And then we saw the famous orangutans, which means a person of the ghost or a ghost forest, something like that. Kelly, get me right in the comments. I don't remember what orangutan means, but we then took an Uber bid to Little India, got some beautiful kopi and some more tong shui, I think that's what it's called. And our final meal here, I didn't record a lot except the food because I just wanted to enjoy the vibes. But the last day, the dreaded travel day, woke up at 4:30 a.m. on Tuesday to get to the airport. We get to the Singapore airport, which thankfully enough has like this nap room that Ashley and I were using. And we get to the plane. We fly from Singapore to Tokyo, which is like a 7-hour, 6-hour flight. This is, if you know that movie, comment down below. This is us landing. And then this is some tonkatsu, or not tonkatsu. This is, man, what is it called, man? Tempura. And then we got a flight from Tokyo to Minneapolis. If you know that movie, comment down below. That's like 12 hours, but we woke up at 4:30 a.m. on a Tuesday, and we landed at like 2 p.m. on Tuesday. So we basically just time traveled, if you think about it, and back to the Minneapolis, back to the world, the real world. Anyways, man, as I conclude this trip, I really hope you guys enjoyed, but here's the dog. We started by saying hi to the dog, or bye to the dog, and we end by saying hi to the dog. And like I said, souvenirs are snacks, so this is my final remarks.
Wow, and just like that, the 2-week vacation has come to an end. I'm sad to see it be done. Back home in Minnesota, it's freezing. Miss the weather and all the people in Malaysia and Singapore. Phenomenal vacation. It truly was dreamlike. But thank you for watching and tuning into this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Much love. Peace.